Got a couple of things I want to share today. One of them I'll mention real briefly, and we received a little bit of coverage. We held a mayor's summit for the first time ever that anyone can remember for this area, and we had great participation. We had mayors from all over this region come and share with us yesterday morning in a very brief mayor's summit. A couple of my colleagues, Marcy Gregory, Mayor of Goddard, and Terry Summers, Mayor of Mount Hope, helped us put this together and put this on. We had participation from Mound Ridge, Heston, Hutchinson, Wellington, El Dorado, and many of the cities in between, and we thought it went very successful. The message we continue to build is we are truly a new era here for us. It's about regionalism, and it was well received. We have some partners eager to help us push that regional initiative. Much of it was surrounded around the blueprint for regional economic growth and some of the other things, the export plan and some of the things that we want to do to diversify our job market. But more to come. We will hold. They were excited about the next mayor's summit that we can hold here, and we're figuring out the details of that. So within the next month or so, we will put together another mayor's summit and move some of those initiatives forward regionally. Another update on our social media town hall. It was a very successful first meeting. We held it on June the 2nd. The next meeting is coming up June the 16th, so we hope it's equally as successful. Just want to remind people that we have various digital platforms that we will continue to connect with, ask people to use to connect with city government. These platforms are a convenient way for residents to weigh in on city projects, initiatives, issues, share their concerns on how their tax dollars are spent. Regarding the social media town hall, we've provided you with a handout, and that's what you all have there today, that highlights the town hall meeting and the stats that we wanted to share with you. And I'll share some of these stats of the results. This year we had twice as many comments. We had about 556 comments this year. The comments were very insightful. They will be useful as we move forward with improving customer service and various programs. Additionally, we had more likes this year than we had last year. For example, some popular topics were tree planting, an additional street maintenance crew that we're looking at putting out there, and taking steps to address illegal dumping. We had a total of 1,109 likes on Facebook, 93,000 views on Facebook. 93,000 views on Facebook. Also want to note that several council members attended that event. It was well attended, obviously, by staff, but we had nearly all of the council had taken some time out of their day to attend that opportunity. And it was nice to see the interaction between staff and the folks that were asking questions and providing insight on social media. Again, the next social media town hall event will be from 2 to 3:30 p.m. next Tuesday. The social media town hall is just the most recent example of how we're exploring digital engagement opportunities with our citizens. As I've mentioned before, not sure you ever get communications totally perfect. It's something that we will continually work on to improve, but we have a great group of folks that are looking at a number of opportunities to expand our communication circle and reach out in a number of different ways, and this is just one of them. Many positions on the Citizens Advisory Board will be up for appointment this summer, and Wichita.gov has revamped online applications for citizens to make it easier for them to use. These boards offer the most direct route for citizen involvement, and I'm proud how we have expanded the method to recruit engaged residents using online resources. Since we rolled out this tool, we've had 91 applications and over 30 active boards. I also want to remind you of the many ways we use all of our different digital platforms. We use Facebook and Twitter and Wichita.gov, where you can track progress of the pavement repairs and see when the pavement in your area might be on board to get repaired. City 7 on YouTube and the Wichita Report application that we continue to encourage residents to use. Just want to also mention that the city's proposed budget will be released on July the 10th in advance of the July 14th council meeting, and so we'll have ample opportunity to weigh in on our city budget when we get ready to release that and hold a number of meetings out there. Fair Fairs program getting ready to kick off their Free Fairs Week, June 15th through the 20th. Also like to reiterate that we're trying something new this year, and we mentioned this before. All of the youth that are involved in our summer youth work programs will have a transit pass that will enable them to ride transit free anytime, anywhere that transit is operating. I think we have so far somewhere in the neighborhood of 150 of these youth that are going to participate, and looking forward to their engagement and feedback on how well that transit system worked for them, getting them back and forth to the jobs that they're going to take on and any other activities they'd like to do, and encouraging them to use the bus. We want to encourage people to catch a free ride. It certainly will help us reduce our ozone issues in the summertime, as you know, when the conditions are ripe, and it gives us an opportunity to cook the environment to a point where we can reach outside of our attainment for the ozone levels. And so certainly transit is one tool that we can utilize to help us. And the Free Transit Week certainly will be a benefit to help with those issues. Free Fairs Week participants can enter the bus selfie contest. I know some of you will do that here. A chance to win one of 10 bus passes worth 20 rides. So we would encourage you to, Deb, I know you're good at selfies, so don't be shy.
I'll be on that, man.
All right, thank you. Ride the bus, Free Fairs Week, take a selfie. Like us on Wichita Transit Facebook page, post selfie with hashtag catch a ride, and after the free fare ends, you can still ride free on any ozone alert days. And so when we have those, we will notify the public, and when we have ozone alert days, you can ride transit free anywhere that transit will take you. Ozone Alert Day notices will be available on the City of Wichita and Wichita Transit websites and social media sites throughout local news outlets. Sign up for Ozone Alert Day and get email notifications at wichita.gov/ozone. Again, wichita.gov/ozone. More information on that can be found on Wichita Transit, and to find bus schedules, you can visit wichitatransit.org. So that wraps up this portion of today's press conference. We appreciate you again being here, and we would open it up for any questions that you might have today.
Was it the mayor's summit that happened?
It was yesterday morning, actually. And we held it out at the Marriott, and it was held from 7:30 to 9 o'clock, and we were successful at getting people out of there on time. It ended right at 9, and great turnout.
Are you looking to make this a monthly or quarterly?
We haven't really decided that yet, George. We certainly want to make it meaningful again, and so we're looking at different opportunities that we can bring to the table to that group that would be more meaningful. But it was a really good first meeting that was relatively casual, with a very small agenda, just sharing with folks over breakfast, and we had a small presentation by myself and the other two mayors that helped us put that on. I think initially we're probably maybe looking at it every other month, kind of depending on the issues, but looking forward to working. We have some really good neighbors and folks that want to make a difference and appreciate truly what we're trying to do here in terms of the new Greater Wichita Partnership and what it means to regionalism, and it was well received, and looking forward to see where that goes.
It sounds like from what you were saying about the people that were invited, the mayors, it's a pretty good diversity of city size that was there. Were you surprised at the amount of issues that you shared despite the differences in size?
Not really surprised by the issues that we have in common, because at the very core of all of us, jobs is certainly one of the most important. And what we're finding in this community when we talk about regionalism, and Hutchinson's a prime example. Hutchinson encouraged Siemens to land in Hutchinson, Kansas, which has been fairly successful. But what we've learned since then is about 15 or 20 other companies that have come into the area to work with Siemens and have landed all over the region. And so what we now can really appreciate, when one of us is successful, it's easy to show firsthand that all of us are more successful. And so it's really about working together and not working against. And I assured our neighbors that when there are opportunities to bring companies into Wichita and they're successful at looking at whatever they're doing to bring companies into this area, Wichita's not going to be in a bidding war with Bel Air or Mays or Valley Center or any of our neighbors. Those days of pitting Wichita against some of our small cities are over. We're not interested in upping the ante. And that has been an issue sometimes in the past, where opportunities have come to us and they would ask us what more we could give to sweeten the pot, so to speak, because Bel Air is willing to do X. Well, we're not bidding with any of our neighbors anymore, because we know if Bel Air wins, Wichita wins, and we have a number of success stories that we can share that exemplify that. So it was a good group. Looking forward to see where that carries us.
Mayor, you talked. Go ahead, Ash.
How many different mayors were included in this? I know you were listing off how you...
We had somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 area mayors that attended, and we think that might even expand in the future. Some of them were small cities like Canton, Clearwater, like I said, Hayesville. I mean, they were obviously all the way up to Wichita. Derby mayor was there, and it was interesting. Derby mayor and the new Hutchinson mayor were having great dialogue and talking about things that they could do together. And those are at kind of extreme ends of this area, and so it was refreshing to see the dialogue happen amongst all of the mayors and people coming together and for something that we can all rally behind together. Good questions, and I appreciate you covering that.
Mayor, I was going to ask you a little bit more about the town hall meeting, the social media. You said some of the biggest topics were street maintenance, aquatics, and planting trees. Can you talk specifically, what were people saying about, for instance, street maintenance? What are people concerned about the streets and want more?
People are always concerned about our streets, and as you know, that was one of the issues that was in the referendum a year ago. We want to continue to figure out ways to improve our neighborhood streets. We certainly, you can drive around town and see some of the progress we've made on arterial streets, and they're certainly getting better all of the time. We have some great examples of some wonderful improvements on our main arterial streets. Neighborhood side streets are an issue that we need to continue to focus on. We're adding an additional $2 million this year to our program to bolster our neighborhood streets and figure out how we can catch up with some of those areas that simply don't meet the standards that we want to have. And we also know that people take more pride in their own personal property when their streets brought up to great standards. And so we're going to continue to look at ways to put dollars into that program, and because we all want those that is also, you can argue, maybe a quality of life issue too, when you look at driving those neighborhood streets and what it can mean for individual neighborhoods. And that will always be a concern until every neighborhood street's brand new. You can have one bad street anywhere, and it's an issue to the people that live on that block, and we recognize that.
And Mayor, when you say you're adding an additional $2 million, is that for next year's budget, or it's already in the budget?
It's already in the budget for this year, which gets us about an additional, with the new techniques that we're utilizing, I think it gets us almost an additional 200 lane miles of coverage for repairing our surface streets.
Okay. And what about aquatics?
That's something that we're still in the preliminary stages of, working through that. We haven't had a report given on that yet, and we want to get more input from the community and look at opportunities for everything from what's most important to the neighborhoods, what pools make sense, what do pools mean today, what do partnerships look like, how can we better utilize the assets that are in the community, to where do we need to build more city pools if that's the end game, and all of that. And so we still haven't received any of that information to see where that's at yet.